No, it has. I can see
it. Has. You
I
can
can
see
see
them. All right, brilliant. Thank you. I can't see that you can see them. So let me know, please, if I'm on the wrong one. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. So welcome everyone, and congratulations to all the 9 fabulous project teams. Before we get started, a few things to note. We have lots of people here today, and you will be very new to each other, so please introduce yourself in the chat function if you haven't done so already. You are welcome to use the chat function as well to ask any questions throughout the session, and we'll aim to answer them within the chat. We'll also invite questions at the end of each session. And please feel free to use our hashtag local digital to tweet about the event as we go. So next slide, Sarah. So from an agenda perspective, we've got a packed session today, but we're hoping to finish by 1 p.m. so we won't hold you for too long. And we have a 10-minute break after lightning talks, and I just do a little bit of intro of the team. So we'll work through the agenda in a nice clippy pace. On that note, so first kind of agenda is I'm going to pass over to Paul, who is our Chief Digital Officer and Director for Local Digital. Paul.
Thank you very much, folks, and it's really good to see you all. I think there'll be some people on in the meeting that I've met before, but probably many that I haven't. So just by introduction, I'm Chief Digital Officer here at the department, and he said MHCLG, but you know, that changes now and again. You know, my role here, I look after the machines, the services that we run as a department, helping make sort of policy stuff fit for the internet age in the department, also sort of improving the department's digital capability. But one of the important things has been about working with the local government sector on the digital services capability, awareness, and all those sorts of things that we've been doing for a number of years now. First thing I want to say is just congratulations for being here and getting the funding. I know that, you know, this has been awarded for the particular projects that you're involved with. Of course, that's the critical part, but I'm also aware of the hard work that goes into you know, just doing the forms and the process, but also the journey that you will all have been on. I suspect that there'll be quite a wide range of stories here about you know, where you are on your sort of your digital capability within the teams, within the wider organizations. And, you know, I think the important thing for me is this is a recognition in many ways of that hard work that you've done within your own organizations, which I suspect are quite like ours here, where, you know, this is not a straightforward thing to be able to persuade people about what digital services mean, what a digital way of working looks like, and why those things are important. And I know that the individuals on this team, whether from digital teams, technology teams, or from the service teams, will have put in a lot of hard work over the years in order to get to the position that you're in now. I think there's a little bit to say about working with the local digital team here. Our approach has been rooted in trying to empower folks in councils to do the right thing. As central government, we've been focused on trying to do what only central government can do, and trying to get, from when we did that digital declaration some years back now, to try and get the nature of that engagement in a good and sort of positive footing. It's more of a co-partner in some of these things, rather than a sort of, you know, sometimes that central to local government thing. Having sat on the other side of that, is like I still sort of feel the scars of what central government can look like from when you're sitting in a council and how you interact with it. I'm sure we won't always get that right, by the way, but it's part of our sort of core mentality to try and get that in a better footing. I think just like some details about the round more broadly. Fair to say this is the first round we've done under our new ministerial team. Things do feel really quite different over here at the moment, as you might expect, with a different sort of energy, power, and all the rest of those things that come with a new ministerial team. It's the first one that's been awarded under our local they said local digital minister, our local government minister, Kemi Badenoch. So she was like really eager to make sure that she was involved on the communication side of that. You've probably seen the tweet, and it felt like the certainly my Twitter feed was sort of lighting up with some really interesting content from folks like yourselves and others in that mix. So I think that's where I just wanted to kind of say welcome, thank you for those that I haven't met before, haven't been engaged with the team. It's a big hello, and hopefully we can offer more than just the sort of money and the the program here. We're trying to do something, I think, together about improving how digital services work across the country, including, of course, in local government. So that was all for me, and I was going to pass back to May, and I think for the lightning talks.
Thank you so much, Paul. So absolutely, we're going to move on to lightning talks. So this is an opportunity for you to learn what are the other successful projects, and also a way to meet new people who will be doing very similar things to you. And also, yeah, it would be great if we can do a lot of like sharing and learning between projects, which will help as well by working in the open, helping you amplify your outputs. So next slide, please, Sarah. So we're from an agenda perspective, we're going to start with the theme 1 projects on low code, with Redbridge kicking us off, and then we're going to move to next slide, please, Sarah. The theme 2 projects with Birmingham City Council kicking that off. So I'm going to pass over then to Redbridge, I believe. So next couple of slides, please, Sarah. Tom, over to you.
Cool. That's me. Hey, thank you. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm Tom Harrison, Programme Director at Redbridge Council. I joined about 2 months ago, so it's been quite a ride so far. But yeah, our project is looking at low-code patterns for housing management. So if we go on to the next slide. Cheers. Yes, we've got quite a small team at present, but looking to grow it quite quickly. So currently we have Richard Bateman, who's a user researcher and service designer, who's been around like central government for quite a while, is now working with us, and Miranda Mann, who's a user researcher and content designer, plus myself, who's acting as delivery manager for the time being. We're going to be appointing some partners for this project, so we need to get a design partner in to support the in-house team, and then 3 low-code platform providers, which kind of comes to the heart of our project. Currently, we've been funded just as a single council, but if other councils want to get involved in this, we're definitely up for getting more people involved. So hopefully getting some more friends soon. If you go on to the next slide. Cool. So what we're looking to achieve, housing management systems are basically big, clunky ERP systems that don't really meet user needs very well. But a lot of what housing management teams do is basically case management. And this is an area I think that low-code platforms are really well suited to, more so than relationships. So our alpha is looking at determining the feasibility of delivering housing management functions on a low-code platform. So to do this, we're going to work with our design partner and in-house team to define a service pattern for changing a tenancy. We've picked changing a tenancy because it's kind of the most complicated thing that housing management teams do. So I think it's like a good way of stretching the capabilities of the platform. Once we have that service pattern, we're then going to be looking at implementing that pattern on 3 different platforms, and then comparing them against each other and just seeing like where the strengths and weaknesses are of different platforms, how they might be better suited for some organizations than others, but also kind of comparing that against a benchmark of what it's like to build this in native code. And that is us in 2 minutes.
Thank you, Tom. So if we move to the next lightning talk, James.
Hi, folks. Yeah, that was the way to do it, Tom. A couple of minutes, bang on. So yeah, ours is I want to talk to you about our platform that we're looking to build for our field workers. So I'm from Birmingham, and if I go on to the next slide, I will introduce the team. So unlike Tom, we've got a massive team, but I'm not going to try and introduce them all. I invite my team to put their cameras on, actually, just to give a little wave and say hello, those of you who are on the call. So yeah, so we're partnering with Microsoft. We're Microsoft House. We've got Rick on the call as well. He can give us a wave, Rick. So he's our Microsoft account director. Cheryl unfortunately can't make it today. She's our CIO. But we've got a couple of really key people, our delivery manager, our in-house delivery manager, Helen, and our agile coach, Azim, and I'm not sure if we've got Zahir, our product owner, on the line as well, but that's the kind of core of the team. As you can see here, slightly doing this batch run because you don't know what I haven't said what we're delivering yet, but we're doing it in 3 Scrum teams managed by a Scrum of Scrums. Hi, Helen. And with some oversight from a business change manager, because this is a significant business change program across several thousand people in our organisation. So just pop on to the next slide. I'll give you a view about what it is we're delivering. So as I say, we have somewhere up to 7,000 field workers in Birmingham, and those are people who those are the people who are sort of out on the streets and in people's homes, delivering services face to face. We know from discovery work that we did that they have lots of challenges with things like connectivity in some of our tower blocks, for example, in some of the areas of the city that don't get very good connectivity. They don't always feel safe. There's no sort of consistent safety tool that we use. There's all sorts of productivity issues, which are generally caused by the connectivity challenges as well. So people having to input information manually when they get back to the office from being out and about, and it's really difficult to communicate with customers. So we are looking to build a platform which is going to be based on the low-code element of Microsoft's low-code MS Xamarin, otherwise known as Net MAUI, and the Power Platform, and it'll be hosted in Azure. And it's going to be a platform which will give all of those field workers a common interface, a common front end, to be able to view their case files. It'll integrate a number of line of business systems to it. Might need access to those line of business systems when they're out in the field. They'll have access to them through the single sign-on. It will integrate a risk marker solution, which is a really important element of keeping people safe while they're out in the field. It will eliminate that double handling, so there'll be nothing that people won't be. They'll be able to upload files. They'll be able to record information, even when they're online or offline, and that'll all be uploaded to the line of business system silently in the background when they come back online. Big savings just in Birmingham itself, £2.3 million annual savings, we reckon. But the more exciting thing about this is the potential this could have to disrupt the sector around for field working, basically. And having spoken to some of you out there, I know you have your field workers have similar challenges, and we look forward to hearing more from you as we proceed through this. I'm very excited to hear from Colchester as well. I see they're doing something similar. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Next is Kieran, I believe. Yes.
Hello. Yeah. Thanks for having me here. Really excited to get going. Yeah, I'm Kieran, so I look after sort of all things IT at Colchester. We are developing a sort of fully featured end-to-end task management tool on the Power Platform. If we could jump onto the next slide, please. I'll just let you know who's here. Really important point. We are doing this in partnership with a couple of other authorities and hopefully people are on the call. So we are working with Tendring District Council and Malden District Council. We're all part of something called Essex Online Partnership, which is a really strong Essex-wide IT group. Picks up all local authorities and blue lights services across Essex. We all have done development to a degree on the Power Platform. And I think our key principle around all of this is trying to make best use of the Microsoft licensing that we all pay for, or most of us pay for, because there's loads of functionality in there that we're paying for and not using. So we have a number of small teams, and we are really looking to work together to deliver something. And if I can pop onto the next slide, I'll tell you what that is. So as I say, we are looking to create or to build on something we've already created. So our alpha phase was delivered in-house at Colchester, and it is a full end-to-end Power Platform built task management application. It's based on our neighbourhood services team, so delivering environmental services, and it goes all the way through from we have dynamics at our front end, from a customer logging a request all the way through to be delivered to a mobile handset, with the Power Apps on that handset. I suppose we're looking in this next phase to take it a step further. So we know what we've built is great for an alpha phase. We've delivered 50, 60, 70,000 tasks through it in a calendar year, which is a decent amount for an organisation our size. What we're looking to do is step back, strip it back, and create a reusable set of modules around task management. We're then looking to build that out to meet the requirements of our neighbourhoods teams in Colchester, Tendring and Malden, but make that then a reusable product for any task management solution. So not only will we deliver or look to deliver a specific service for our neighbourhoods teams, but actually that engine on a free to use basis around task management. A couple of key points. There are lots of options with Microsoft around paid for additional premium services. We have built this and will continue to build this without utilising those. So it is essentially free to use with an E3 license. And we're very, very much focused on that user experience. I think it's quite exciting. There's lots of complicated integrations, lots of organisations that hold us to ransom around buying sort of add-ons for mobile devices and scheduling modules, and we can deliver all of that in the one application. That's me.
Thank you, Kieran. Next is Paul from Newcastle City Council. Paul.
Hi there, everybody. It's Paul here from sunny Newcastle. So pleased to meet you all, and it's great to hear about all the great projects that are happening so far. Can we have the next slide, please? So my team look after all the business applications in the city, dealing with lots of suppliers and service areas. So the team moving forward on this one is myself as a sponsor, and Jenny Nelson, who's our Digital Newcastle Programme Manager, will also be involving resource from the ICT area, and also getting involved in the stakeholders in grant provision. We've also appointed FutureGov to work on alongside us on user research, requirements definition, and just keeping us in line and making sure that we hit those very tough 12-week targets that we've been given. We've also got Netcall on board as well, who will be supplying professional services to build a low-code solution with us. So if we can move to the next slide, I'll tell you about what we're going to be delivering. Very simple. Hopefully the project will be simple and run nice and smoothly. But Newcastle, I'm sure, like lots of other local authorities, provide a handful of community grants. Unfortunately, we don't know the full picture there. We've got youth grants, war grants, social care grants. COVID grants has been a new thing. We've had 5 of those over the last year. We've handed out £63 million in grants just alone on the COVID ones, which is a huge amount. But there's been lots of different technologies involved. So the problem is no visibility of that full grant provision that we provide and how much money is involved. There's different methods of applying, using different technologies, even simple technologies such as a Word document with bank details in that are emailed into the council, which is not good. The COVID grant solution used 5 different technologies with lots of integration. None of that's based on user needs, and none of the applicants have any visibility to what stage their application is in the process. So what we want to achieve is understand all the grants that are available from the council, massively improve the user journey, make it more efficient for those service areas to process those grant applications, fully reportable, fully auditable, etc. Build a prototype that's modular so that other grants can use the system and also be transferable to other local authorities. But more importantly, from my point of view, it's, we've got lots of applications. I'm looking at consolidation, and I think low code is certainly a way forward to help us deliver that. And that's it from Newcastle.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we've got Kit from Greenwich.
Morning all, from South East London. I'm Kit and I lead digital and customer services at the Royal Borough of Greenwich. Next slide. And this is us. So our bid was to build a reusable community directory, and these are the people who are going to be rebuilding it. So we are the lead council, and then we're working with Will from Local Gov Drupal to explore the possible use of that platform. And we've got some great help from Essex as well. and we're looking to build on the open referral standard as well. So that is obviously not a partner, but that is something that we're looking to explore as part of this service. Next slide. So what we're doing is we want to try and make local information, advice and services more accessible, intuitive and easy to navigate for residents. So we have multiple community directories. Actually, we have a core one and then a few others as well. And we know from our research that other authorities are in the same position. We want to make the creation of community provision and the publishing of that to multiple areas much easier, not just for us, but for other authorities as well. So we're looking to expand on the open referral standard for that. And we're going to explore doing that through the local gov Drupal platform, as I said. But really the core of the problem we want to solve is to make that publishing much easier for other people. So we know we've got some interesting architectural bits to look at there. We want the service to be highly navigable. So we're going to be looking at some options around search. We know that the data bit of that needs to be really simple and really seamless as well. And we're thinking about content management quite heavily, as you might imagine. So for us, it's a really nice, interesting problem area, sort of complex enough that you want to get your teeth into it, but easy enough that we think we can tackle it in the timescale. So yeah, we're super excited, not just to be doing it, but obviously to be part of this community that we're so passionate about as well. That's it.
Thank you, Kit. Next up, we have Amy from Bristol City Council.
Hi, good morning. I'm from Bristol, and I have to remember not to refer to us as BCC with Birmingham in the group. So yeah, I'm Amy. I'm digital product owner for Bristol City Council. Next slide, please. This is our team. We've got quite a small in-house digital team at the moment. So on this project there, we've got testers, UX, Monica who's on the call, and our main developer. But we're looking to expand that and bring in contractors. So we need a front-end developer, full stack developer, and automation QA, just to make sure that we can really speed up the process. And we're supported by our in-house business team. So head of application digital, our change management project manager, and Alison, who's our main business sponsor. Next slide, please. So what we're trying to achieve, well, we finished the alpha phase, so we're just moving into the beta phase. And our project is a transformation project which provides additional funding to mainstream education settings across 375 schools across Bristol for those children that have special educational needs or disability. So those schools currently apply for the funding through a process called Top Up, and that is really manual. So as you can just about see, hopefully from the user mapping on the slide, sort of every stage of that is quite painful and frustrating, and it causes inconsistencies in funding at the moment. So yeah, there's Word documents, emails, people sort of even guessing what they can apply for and the funding amounts they can ask for. And our current alpha solution goes so far to solve some of these problems, but causes lots of issues with versioning control and especially user experience, which is what we want to simplify with this platform. So our vision is to transform the way that top-up funding is applied for and distributed, and to unify and centralise that, making the end-to-end process easier and less frustrating for schools and for the council. Our goals, sort of our high-level goals, are to reduce time needed to apply for the top-up funding, to reduce the volume of assessments that are incorrect, have a greater transparency and consistency of equity of the funding, and to increase the number of schools following a standardised application submission. So we're going to be building the front end as an app service using Spring Boot, Azure resources as the platform, so the function and logic apps, database and API management sort of for the heavy lifting, and obviously it's going to be coded in Java, and we're going to be publishing this in GitHub as a project to make it open source. But key to this really is our iterative approach, so we're looking to finish phase 1 sort of January and go into the testing. We're going to go into schools with some sort of small user groups to test this against, along with the more complex funding side of it, so that we can sort of put that into the phase 2, and also put in those iterative changes that are needed based on phase 1. And yeah, just keep learning and getting to a point where this is really helping funding and saving money across schools in Bristol. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Up next, we have Dave from Windsor and Maidenhead.
Good morning, folks. Again, very good to be here, and great to see how many projects are using low code, which is good because it's another one that we're using as well. So my name's Dave, project manager in the transformation team in Windsor and Maidenhead. Next slide, please. So we're not a big team, and we're sort of a bit of a jack of all trades team. So everyone you're seeing there, that's all of our web and digital business systems and project management capability as a council. So we all fit under the guise of transformation, led by a chap called Dan Brookman, who can't be here today. And critically, a couple of people on there. So GJ Stats, who are our development partner, going to be doing a lot of our low code development work. We've been working with them previously on some other work. And again, Amazon, AWS, who we've been working with, who are hosting for us. We've done some quite close work with them. So there's us, there's those two, and then particularly want to plug community partners. So during COVID, and I'll tell you back to front way again about the project that we're doing, but we've worked incredibly closely with our community partners on a lot of the user acceptance testing as part of the alpha phase and building the wireframes. And it's really based on the feedback that they've been giving us on the platform that we're really able to take this to beta. So big shout out to them. Next slide. So more helpfully, what are we actually building? So this is building on a foundation that we built during COVID. So we built some wireframes of a platform that was in effect a community referrals platform built in low code. So for our shielded populations, clinically extremely vulnerable, which I'm sure a lot of you had to deal with as well, we were getting lots of information on people in the community that needed help, but we didn't necessarily have the resource or the expertise to actually be able to help them in the way that they needed. So what we did is we started to build a platform that could take a lot of different feeds coming in. So it would take data from a number of different settings on individuals who needed help. It would then process that data and in a GDPR compliant way be able to get that out to people in the community who would actually be able to deliver the support. So civil society partners, as DHSC would call them. So the app does some of that processing. It pushes out some of those requests to the communities. And so volunteers who have been sort of correctly checked and are working with some of our local agencies would be able to pick up their mobiles. They'd get a little ping in the same way, I'm sure, as the field workers app would work. They would be able to help somebody in the community and be able to fire back requests back into a main system. For anything that couldn't be dealt with in the community, it could be pushed back over to health, social care, or the statutory partners who might be able to deliver the next layer of support. So that's what we did the building on during COVID. We hope in the beta phase that we can continue to capitalize on that. We can push it out more widely. So work closely with social prescribers, work with partners in social care, and work with a number of different community partners. And just to help some of those low-level referrals, the things that don't necessarily need our time and attention, but really would benefit someone in the community, just popping over, think about loneliness, digital isolation, even shopping, or little bits and pieces off the back of COVID. There's a lot of different uses, we think, for this platform. So definitely excited to get going and get building. That's all from us.
Thank you, Dave. Next up, we have Tom from Birmingham City Council, and now we're moving on to theme 2, which is on improving vital digital services. Tom.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, my name's Tom Few. I'm a business relationship manager within Birmingham City Council. So start with the team. So firstly, I think my colleague from Birmingham, Newinda Sagu, is on the call today, and I also believe that we've got representatives from all 14 local authorities on the call as well that will be involved in this particular project. And the project is to deliver the digitised brokerage marketplace for child placement in the West Midlands, and we are in the process of mobilising the delivery team. Andy Jurseth from Coventry will be our product manager with support from Newinda, with Coventry and Birmingham being the lead local authorities. Andy is the West Midlands Commissioning Hub Manager and our key liaison with all the local authorities that use the portal. The team, working with our existing partner in Birmingham, Methods, we've just identified a number of specific individuals to fill the remaining roles on the team. That meeting actually took place yesterday, so we're now pleased to say we're now fully resourced on that front. It will be another low-code development, and my colleague James Gregor has already mentioned the relationship we have with Microsoft in Birmingham with regard to the field workers project. Next slide, please. So what we're looking to achieve, local authorities in England spend over 2 billion per annum on foster and residential care placements, from third parties. The data we need to manage the children in the care market is fragmented across different systems managed by different teams in the various local authorities. In the West Midlands, as elsewhere, the process of undertaking placement searches and brokerage within the market is managed through a regional placement portal. However, much of that information shared through the portal is free text, the use of Word and Excel documents, and it doesn't allow the free flow of the data or its analysis, more importantly. The government and local authorities recognise the market is broken and there are bottlenecks in meeting and responding to demand, and tensions around pricing, poor value for money, and a lack of focus on outcomes. So by working with users to redesign the portal and turn it into a digital marketplace with more automation and digitising of our placement processes, we aim to capture, and this is the essence of it, we aim to capture the structured data specifically during the contracting process. So those are the areas highlighted in deep red there within the dotted box, because that's the data that's going to really make the difference in terms of managing this service going forward. And we think this could unlock savings of up to about £8 million per annum, over the next 5 years or so. And finally, the placements portal project has the potential to act as a catalyst for change nationally, which would be great. And that's it from me.
Thank you, Tom. So next up, we've got Mike from Rugby Borough Council.
Good morning all. So my name is Mike Connell. I'm the Chief Officer for Digital and Communications here at Rugby Borough Council. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So we are the lead council in this. Our partners are Dorset, the Royal Borough of Kingston, the London Borough of Sutton, and Northumberland County Council. And I believe I've got Will, Neil, Lisa, and Lee on the call, who, if you have their video on, feel free to wave at the camera. So we are all digital place for local public services users, which is an open DXP digital platform designed for making and reusing services in local government, which is based on the open source LifeRay DXP. Our project team that we're looking at the moment is a BA, a DA. We'll have a cross-council delivery manager. Although we will be leading on this, it will be very, very much a shared partnership working here. User research, design and development services, and obviously project management. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So what's the problem? Well, so here at Rugby Borough Council, we've gone through the pain of integrating our waste management system into a customer portal and also providing the back office delivery. We've tested and tweaked it. And we've got a well-integrated system now, which provides a variety of services. So green waste subscriptions, bin days, assisted waste pullouts, missed bins, live responses. And we've sort of patched it together using a combination of APIs, some Azure middleware, which translates from XML to JSON, because there currently isn't support for XML inside LifeRay. And then there's some consumers in there. And we've done it with pretty limited resources. We're quite a small authority, but we've got to a place where the system is reliable and efficient. But the question we asked is, why should everybody else have to go through this pain? Can I have the next slide, please? So that's what we're hoping to solve here, really, is to pull all of this information together, and place it onto a low-code platform, and provide the service improvements and efficiencies by taking all of those middleware sort of components out and pulling it into a single place. We'll be doing it, presenting the user journeys, the process maps, and the improvements as we go through that, being very transparent so that anybody that's interested can follow this. Trying to get as few systems as possible and bring it all together into a single platform. We're going to be doing it across multiple waste management systems, which will be Web Aspects, which is what we use. And then we've got Echo and Bartek involved from our partners as well. And then we'll use these integrated connectors. We'll create front-end modules, which will allow residents and back office users to be able to interact. Oh, and I've lost, thank you. And then we'll give low-code access to these integrations. And in my head, it's pick a waste management system, put in the required details, activate the modules. So do the hard work to make things simple is where I'm coming from here, really. And it'll all be inside GitHub and open source. And it's exciting times. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Mike. So that's the 9 amazing projects that we are funding. So just super exciting in terms of the range of different services and the different platforms and services that are being built. So really excited to have everyone here today. I think it would be useful to now just take like a quick break before we start going through the kind of support you can expect from us. So is everyone okay to do that now? So we'll come back at 11 a.m. So it should be enough time to make a good cup of tea or coffee. We'll see you at 11, everyone. Give everyone another minute and then we will crack on. Right, we'll get started. Sarah, can you go to the next slide, please? So just 2 minutes about the team. So next slide, please, Sarah. For those who are new to the local digital declaration, so a lot of councils usually join when there's a new funding round. So just to kind of touch through the principles of the declaration, it's looking to bring into one place the shared vision and ambition of local government to look to redesign services around the needs of people using them, break the dependence on inflexible and expensive technology, design safe and secure ways of sharing information, thanks, Sarah, and demonstrate digital leadership, as well as embed an open culture to work in the open whenever we can. Next slide, please, Sarah. So the declaration is 3 years old, and this year for the anniversary, we celebrated along with you and other signatories and funded projects. And it was a great opportunity to highlight the amazing work that local authorities have been doing around the country. Next slide, please. And you're joining a part of a community of very collaborative councils. So we've funded 35 projects to date with 100+ distinct councils working on those projects. So definitely proven that collaborative working does work and councils can share and reuse. So next slide, please, Sarah, and we're going to go to meet people in the local digital team. So if I can ask LDC colleagues to turn on their cameras and wave. Next slide, please, Sarah. So there's myself, there's Sarah, who's our delivery manager. Tom is one of our collab managers. Please wave as I say your name, and I'm going to slow down so I don't talk too fast. Sheldon, who's our policy lead. Holly, who's a content designer. I don't think Jamie's here today, but he's our economist. Charlotte, wave, wave, wave. I can see you. Is a content producer. Leon is another collaboration manager. Philip, who's another economist that will be helping. Charlotte is our project and admin support officer. And Egle is also another collaboration manager, but she's on leave at the moment. Next slide, please, Sarah. So the collaboration managers, if you joined us earlier, hey, Jamie, Izzy is also a new collaboration manager. We're just trying to get her onboarded. That's why her picture's not here. But Leon, Sheldon, Tom, and Charlotte will be helping you out. So we've listed which councils and projects they'll be working on with you. And don't worry if you haven't seen this, they will be in touch with you, so you don't have to memorize that immediately. So I'm going to pass over to Leon to kind of go over the support that you can expect from us and the collaboration managers. Leon.
Good morning. My name's Leon Necki. I'm one of the collaboration managers in the local digital collaboration unit. A collaboration manager is basically the main point of contact between the project delivery team and DLUC. Every project's unique, and our role is to support you in the delivery of products that meet user needs and to ensure that you are ensure that they are developed in line with the principles of the local digital declaration. In a practical sense, we are there to identify and explore opportunities for collaborative work within local and central government. We will work with the project teams to ensure that councils deliver what they said they deliver, share outputs from the project, promote their work, and deliver solutions that provide value for money. Next slide, please. The Local Digital Fund aims to build capacity in the sector's IT and service delivery community, positively influencing the drive towards interoperable local digital services. Collaboration managers will support project teams in the fulfillment of these aims by actively engaging with the agile ceremonies of the project team where feasible, identify where it would be appropriate for the project team to have support, particularly in areas where they have limited skills. We will intercede and remove blockers when required and help track project progress and impact once the project itself has gone live. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay. You'll shortly be contacted by the collaboration manager for your project to schedule a kick-off meeting. During this meeting, as a group, we will confirm the broader aims of the project and define our collaborative approach for achieving these. Specific activities that will be completed during this session will include the drafting of a vision statement for the project, defining its overall purpose. So my camera is on, can you not see me? Yes, you can see me?
That's just me, sorry, Leon.
No problem. Sorry, yeah, the drafting of vision statement for the project so we can define its overall purpose, confirming the project scope, specifically defining the MVP or minimal viable product. We'll document stakeholder involvement, clarifying the roles, responsibilities and project governance. We'll agree a schedule for agile ceremonies. We'll confirm what outputs for the project should look like, as well as the platforms that will be used for sharing them. And we'll prepare a delivery plan with clearly defined milestones and measurable outcomes. Next slide, please. Okay, are there any questions that anybody has in the group?
No, makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no questions, I'll hand over to my colleague, Philip, who's one of our economists, who will take you through measuring project success.
Thanks, Leon. So Jamie, who's also an economist in the team, is going to just kick us off first.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. So yeah, measuring project success, that's kind of a scary title, but the idea simply is to support you all as you press forward with your incredible work to be systematic about how you record the impact of that work. So we've got there's three broad reasons why you want to do this. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's basically about learning, accountability, and for want of a better word, efficacy. So the idea is simply for learning is if we can support you at this stage to have a bit of process about how you understand your objectives and how you might go about measuring them to some extent, either quantitatively or qualitatively, then that would support the project, obviously, to achieve those objectives. If you've been clear about what they are, you can get a much clearer sense of how you're tracking progress towards them. And for us, it will support us. Anything that we can learn from our engagement with you, that will support the program. Accountability is obviously the other side of that coin. So I guess to some extent, yes, we're very keen to see how you get on. What your project is achieving, it would be great to be as sort of detailed as possible, feasibly within the scope. For our own due diligence, how well are we spending our money? Obviously, we're a central government department, so we need to be accountable for that. What we're doing is quite novel, but we think it's really excellent, and we want to prove that. So, anything we can get from working with you and understanding more about how digital projects such as these can demonstrate some real meaningful change, both for councils and for the people they serve. That'll be, that's really a really powerful thing. And obviously, if we can do that, we can continue the program. So we want to support more projects just like this, and we can sort of achieve that by having that information. But it's not just about accountability to us. We want you to be accountable to your own teams. So doing this kind of monitoring work, structured monitoring, gives you that clear understanding, that clear consensus in the team, and gives you a sense of ability. So to some extent, you can be clearer. Within your own sort of spheres and your own stakeholder groups as to exactly what's going on and how you're going about it. And then the final thing, really, efficacy, which again, sorry, it's a terrible word. I need a better one. It's just simply about the fact that if we can support you to understand and collect information about your own impact as you progress with your project, different stages of it, right through from where if you were at discovery, or if you're coming through to a beta, or maybe if you're going to launch something. the more we can understand and help you understand about what the benefits have been and the evidence for those benefits, that will only be really useful for you to demonstrate that to would-be councils, perhaps would-be partners, other doctors who'd be interested in using your outputs. If you can make it very clear that, look at the incredible work that is happening here. We've monitored it. We've got evidence on it. This is the kind of benefit you can expect if you were to use our, or to join our community, or to adopt our various processes, use our code base. That would only be ultimately, achieving both our, ultimate goal and yours, which is to get this kind of technology into the hands of the entire local government community. So it's those three things really: learning, accountability, and efficacy. I'll lean over to you now, Phil, to carry on.
All right, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Jamie. I think you kind of summed up everything quite well. But just to add to that obviously to date, part of the application process, you would have had to articulated kind of the anticipated benefits of the projects that you're undertaking. And I know several of you in the lightning presentations to start with have given sort of specific numbers around the value of the benefit that you think these projects will deliver, which is obviously very important. And what we'll do through the phase of the project between Jamie and I is to work with you to develop what we call a theory of change, which I think is a little bit of a I don't know, terrifying word, because it seems a bit meaningless, but essentially it's to understand like what are the outcomes that you're hoping to deliver from the project, and then what are the prerequisite sort of intermediate outcomes and objectives that you need to deliver in order to reach that final outcome. And it's all about maximising the prospects of success and understanding the steps that you need to take along the way. And as part of that as well, we're keen to work with you to choose appropriate metrics to measure success, both sort of procedural success, so making sure the project runs to timelines, but also making sure that the outcomes, both intermediate and the final outcomes of the project that you anticipate, we're seeing those being realised in practice. And again, the purpose of that is everything that Jamie has talked through. So yeah, essentially Jamie and I will be working with you through these projects to develop a theory of change and understand what are appropriate metrics to track to evaluate the success. So that is all. So thank you. I think I'm passing on to Charlotte. Oh yeah, any questions on that? Good stuff.
Go on, Charlotte.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, Philip and Jamie. So I'm Charlotte Barnes. I'm the team's project and admin support officer, and as you saw on a previous slide as well, working as a collaboration manager for the Bristol project. So I'm going to be talking to you today about our upcoming training offer that we hope to be able to offer you all, and also about working in the open. Next slide, please, Sarah. So yeah, first of all, just wanted to let you know that we're currently working on a new training offer to be able to offer all our new project teams, which is Agile for Teams training. So we hope that you all benefit from attending this training once we've got all that arranged. We hope that this will equip the teams to work well together to deliver good project outputs. Like I said, details on this are still being finalised, but we will be in touch with you all soon about this offer. Next slide, please, Sarah. So just a little bit now about working in the open. Next slide. Thank you. So we want you to work in the open wherever you can, sharing your plans and experience, working collaboratively with other organisations and reusing good practice. Your collaboration manager will be able to advise and support you with working in the open, but just some things that you may want to consider include running show and tells. I'll pop a link in the chat for our YouTube channel, for example, of some previous project show and tells. Also, you might want to consider blogging about your work, so using platforms such as Medium, LinkedIn, your own website or Twitter, for example. Using channels such as Local Gov Digital Slack. If you're not already a member of their Slack channel, we would recommend joining this as a way of connecting with other local authority colleagues, as well as ourselves, and as also a platform for you guys to share and ask questions. You may also want to consider using social media channels such as Twitter to tweet about your work. But also, and as Leon touched on, we want to work in the open with you. So please do invite us collaboration managers to your regular team meetings. Next slide, please, Sarah. So there are also some collaborative tools that we would also like you to consider using, such as Trello, Miro, mural boards to track your work and work collaboratively during your team meetings. So if you've not used these tools before, Trello is a project management tool that allows your whole team to track its workload. Trello helps you see what's being worked on, who's working on what, and where something is in the process. Might be a good tool for you guys to use during retros and sprint planning meetings. Sorry. Miro, Mural, they're online collaborative whiteboard platforms. You can use these tools to brainstorm ideas, create visual flowcharts and diagrams. So like I say, if you've not used these tools before, have a look on their websites, also YouTube videos on how to use them, and I'll pop a couple of links as well in the chat for you guys, so you can have a look at that. Next slide, please. Any questions at all? Or you could just pop any questions in the chat and we'll answer those for you. I'll move on to Charlotte A now if there's no further questions from our comms team. Thank you.
Hello, nice to see everybody today. So my name is also Charlotte. We just go by Charlotte A and Charlotte B for future reference. And my role is to amplify what our team's doing and also what you guys are doing off under projects. As has been mentioned, we work in the open. We have to be transparent about what we're doing as a team and what off-funded projects are doing, and we do that every 2 weeks. Sarah, could you go to the next slide? There's a picture of me. I'm based in Bristol, and there's my email if you need anything, but you'll be working mostly with your collab manager. Next slide, please. Thank you. So I'm responsible for the sprint notes. We also do newsletter and a Twitter account. So sprint notes are on Medium, and I'll put that link in the chat afterwards. Newsletter sent by email, and obviously our Twitter account with our Twitter handle we'll put in the chat as well. Next slide, please. So in terms of our sprint notes, we publish these every couple of weeks after each sprint cycle. And in terms of highlighting what work you've done, it's really a chance for us to publicise what you've been doing, what you've achieved. So any kind of updates you have to pass on to your collab manager. That'll be passed on to me, and then I'll put them in the sprint notes. And in the past, people have also used it to publicise any call outs for user research or surveys, events and show and tells. And it's a good way to collaborate with other people as well and let them know what you're doing in terms of the new projects on this call. Next slide, please. We also have the newsletter. So this is emailed to subscribers every 2 weeks. It's always alternate week to the sprint notes. And if you want anything in the newsletter, just let your collab manager know and I'll make sure it's put in. And I'll send out a collab pack to your, a comms pack to your collab manager, and that will just go through what kind of things we need from you if you want to put anything in the newsletter. We have over 2,000, nearly 2,000 subscribers. We're getting close to that, so it's a really good way to show people in the government across England what you're doing. Next slide, please. And lastly, we've got Twitter. So we use it to talk about our funded projects and highlight their work, publicise our sprint notes and events, and to network with people. We've got over 5,000 followers, and in our recent post about the successful projects for this funding round, we've got nearly 20,000 impressions. So it's a really good way, if you want anything to be tweeted or for us to retweet anything, it's a really good way to get your project out there and to get other people kind of noticing what you're doing. Impressions are the number of people that look at the tweet, by the way, in case you don't know. So again, I'll send a comms pack to your collab manager so you can add any details of what your project's Twitter handle might be, or maybe individuals in the team, and any kind of tags or close contacts that you want us to include when we're writing about anything on Twitter or in sprint notes or newsletter. Next slide, please. Have you got any questions, anybody? No? Oh, there's a question. Hello.
Hello. It's just a very quick one, really. I'm interested. I suppose it's a different sort of platform, but there's no LinkedIn as a standard sort of channel, and certainly in terms of promoting it from a Colchester point of view and a personal point of view, I found huge interest on LinkedIn. You know, massive reach on just a post from little old me, and I just wondered if that was something that, if there was a reason behind that. It's just interest, really, that you're not using LinkedIn.
I can answer that, Kieran. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the channels we're very aware that we don't have like an official presence on. I think quite a lot of the team are on LinkedIn anyway. I certainly post both on like Twitter and LinkedIn, but that's something that we're going to look to rectify shortly. But yeah, in the meantime, like myself or like what you're doing now, post on LinkedIn, we're happy to do the same. But yeah, we're going to set that up properly and make sure that we can hit as many channels, because I know there are a lot of people on the LinkedIn space and not on Twitter, and like vice versa. So as much amplifying that we can do for all of your amazing projects, we'll look to do that. Does that help, Kieran?
Yes, thank you. And I suppose just in the interim, while you don't have an official account, who we should tag in or copy in, and just on LinkedIn, even if it's you as individuals, if not, just anything that helps us, as you say, amplify would be really helpful.
Yeah, if you we'll ping you a list of team members, Kieran, and then we should be able to set our like official LinkedIn very soon. Charlotte, Michael had a question. If you can just pop into the chat how you can subscribe, both to like the newsletters or sprint notes, that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'll do that now. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlotte. If there's no more questions, I believe Holly, you're up next.
I am indeed. So hi everyone, nice to see you all. I'm the team's content designer, so I also work with Charlotte A on the comms side of things, so you might be hearing from me as well. I'm going to introduce you to the funded by local digital branding, which is something we recently launched for our projects. Next slide, please. Thank you. So as a team, we're incredibly proud of the projects we fund and the work that we do together, and we hope you'll feel the same. So that's why we've created the funded by local digital logo, which will make it really easy for our projects to link back to us and to the fund. We encourage you to view it as visual recognition of your success. So since you've worked so hard to get to this point, this is your real chance to shout about it. And we encourage you, excuse me, to use it widely wherever possible in your comms and outputs. And also by linking back to us, you'll be helping us to raise awareness of the fund among other councils and supporting organisations. And so we put together a digital pack which explains how to use the logo, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. Next slide, please. Next slide. I'll carry on. So where should you feature the logo? So you could start by including it in any working open activities you may be doing. So for example, slides for a show and tell, your project website or GitHub page, any blog posts you may be writing as a project, or on your social media channels, as shown in the example here. And in the pack, we've put together different logos for digital, for print, and there are different versions. So we've got a black, orange, and a white version for you to choose from, so to fit different contexts. Next slide, please. In the pack, we also explain how you can acknowledge the fund verbally or in writing. So for example, if you set up a Twitter profile for your project. Make sure to include our handle and some of our hashtags so we can see those and retweet them for you. And if you publish a blog post, you could state somewhere this project is funded by the local digital fund and link back to the web page, to the fund web page. So your collaboration manager will share the branding pack with you during your individual kickoff meetings. If you need it any sooner than that, just give me a shout. And I'm happy to take any questions. So that was a bit of a speed run through, but yeah, the pack will kind of explain more when you get it. You can give me a shout or your collaboration manager a shout at any point if you need support. Any questions?
Cool. Thank you, Holly. So that kind of like concludes the kind of support that you can expect from us. If nothing quite fits into what we've talked about, by all means contact us or your collaboration manager. We try to be as supportive and flexible as we can. So before we go, it'd be really useful to almost do like a bit of a retro on like the round 5 process. If you go to the next slide, please, Sarah. So we've set up a really simple Jamboard, and it would be great if we just get some feedback from you. So not only we can like improve future rounds, but also change the way we do things to make it easier for local authorities. So someone from the team can pop the Jamboard link, please, into the chat. So if you click on the link I've just put in the chat, please. So yeah, I see around. Great, number is increasing. Just give couple more seconds for everyone to kind of like join. Right, so the first question is, what are your thoughts on the scope of the fund? Did the themes sit with what you wanted to achieve? So really, this question is like, we try to make our themes as broad as possible. So obviously your successful projects did fit into the themes, but it's just kind of a reflection from you on like, were there other themes that we could have considered, because it would be useful to know that for like future rounds of funding. So off you go. Please bung in any thoughts into the Jamboard, and it's anonymous. So be completely frank and honest with us, please, because it really does help us improve our rounds and funding. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and we can get started. Looks like we're slowing down a little bit. Feel free to carry on if you're still typing. So lots of love for the low code theme, and also messages on they were broad enough and had flexibility, but also noted that a lot of you +1 on the do we even need themes, and well, in the first couple of rounds we didn't have themes. They were completely open. I guess as our kind of like program matures, and in terms of our ability to bid for more money in our spend review, it's really important for us to be able to show actual things and like the benefits and impact of the work that we're funding. So I guess that's some of our kind of constraints almost of like our own kind of like paymasters, because we obviously want to bid for as much money as possible so that we can give to local authorities on these kind of like funded projects. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea why we've kind of shifted to themes. But again, we've tried to make that themes as broad as possible. If that's okay, thank you for your great comments. If we move to the next question, please, Sarah. Oh, some people already got cracking, which is great. So I'll put another 2 minutes on the clock about your experience of applying, and again, be completely frank, because it's really important for us to kind of get your feedback, so again we can iterate and like improve the application process as much as possible. I'll put 2 minutes on the clock now. So just over 2 minutes again. If you're still typing, feel free to finish. And again, really appreciate your honest feedback on that. In terms of, I think there's some themes around. Some people thought the application was a nice enough length. Some people thought otherwise, and then also obviously the interview did put pressure on teams, which we absolutely appreciate. And yes, we'll have a look again at some of your comments. One particular thing on being able to do that kind of matchmaking side of things. Ian, if you have some thoughts how we can do that on a lightweight process, that would be really helpful. I don't know if anyone here, I remember from like round one, we did do that. We did expressions of interest and then did help try to do matchmaking. Yes, some of the feedback from that particular round was that it meant more time again spent by council teams having to fill out a short form, but nonetheless another form. So as always, I think we're just trying to find that right balance as much as possible. But we did see some of you go on All Digital Slack and say, this is a particular idea that you're looking to bid on, and that worked quite well. So again, absolutely open to some of your suggestions of how we could do that in as lightweight manner as possible. So there's you don't have to fill out again another form to do. On the feedback on progress post submission, yeah, we'll look to kind of improve that. For us, we have a lot of red tape on our side. So after the interviews, just to kind of explain why it takes so long, we then have to write a submission, which then needs to go to our minister. Then we have to wait until we get a readout from a minister before we can then make the announcement. And even before the announcement, we then have to wait for a grid slot from number 10, because obviously all central government announcements are coordinated nationally. So hopefully that explains. Sorry, I have no idea where that beeping's coming from, so I'm going to stop talking. Sarah, can you take over, please, while I sort out this beeping?
Sure, I can't promise I knew what the end of my end sentence was there, so I'll do my best. Okay, yeah, with regard to everything on that form, we will have a look at that. And obviously this is quite a quick process here. So if there's anything you actually want to give more in-depth feedback about in terms of the process, we'd very much welcome it. Okay, so I think there's one more question. Well, 1.5 more questions. So the next question is, imagine you've gone back in time and are reapplying for the local digital round 5. What would you do differently? So the point of this question really is, how can this be improved? What would you do differently? What have you learned? So again, I will give you 2 minutes on the clock. And yeah, if you can put your thoughts down, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, so that is 2 minutes. Think there's a bit of a theme there, isn't there, around collaborating with other councils. So that is certainly something I think that, yes, if anyone's got ideas about lightweight way that would suit, would be very interested in hearing about that. Just having another look at these. Yeah, lottery ticket, I agree. Mayan, did you want to take back over?
Yes, please. And user error, I obviously did set a timer and I just forgot I set it on a web browser. Anyway, never mind. Great. Thank you again for those thoughts. Yeah, on the like interesting to see we didn't get funding. We might have a look at that because we did use to kind of publish all applications. So it might be something we kind of do again, but it is available if you are interested. We haven't necessarily made it available on our website, but we can make that if you'd like to, just ask. I may also look to do some analysis on like all the different applications. I think we've got 51 from memory in which areas there are. And yeah, just a few really good suggestions on chat as well. That's a great idea, Kit. That we could just do drop-in sessions for people who are interested. So just a mechanism to have that talk. If I think some people have mentioned that Slack seems quite a stage, and may again consider a very lightweight first stage EOI type, or maybe just try a meeting first, or a little bit of a combination of both. Thank you. So if we move on to the next question, which is just open-ended really. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us or tell us? Crack on. That's over 2 minutes again. Feel free to continue typing, finishing that. Great. We're really, really pleased that lots of +1s on hearing from the different projects today. And absolutely, if you didn't quite get different people's names or email addresses, just let us know and we can help make the connections for you. We're also probably thinking of maybe some sort of like midpoint showcase as the projects have progressed, and obviously we'll also run like an end kind of like showcase again, so that you can see what's been going on in each of the 9 projects. Because I again appreciate everyone's busy, so you may not be able to follow all 9 projects. What else is kind of on there yet? On the funding side of things, absolutely, this is why we're so passionate and fight really hard to continue to get funding for this program. And also this is why, like, when Philip and Jamie come knocking on your door, please help us demonstrate the benefits of your projects, because that's really, really important for us to be able to demonstrate to Treasury and get continued funding for it. So there was a comment on like fund the big idea single product team. So that's an interesting thought. So you may have heard in the budget, we were really successful. So Treasury has said that we have 85 million for the next 3 years. A lot of that will be kind of like cyber resilience based, but we will be looking at some sort, I hate to use the word, but it's in a departmental name, leveling up fund that can be more super tight focused, but also allow for kind of a more different ways of doing things like that. So we'll be coming shortly to not just yourselves, but lots of local authorities to get your thoughts and ideas on what would that look like. What could we do differently with not only that much money, but also a longer time frame? Because again, our hands have been tied because of like the 1 year SR settlement, but now it's 3 years. It gives us a lot more time and money and ability to work with local authorities in a very much more deep way. So hold that thought and start thinking about what some possible options around in that space. I think there was another one on common functionality. So we do actually have some projects on common functionality. Like if you haven't seen our Drupal website CMS project, that's an example where we're kind of almost moving into that commodity space for website CRMs. Greenwich is obviously going to be working with Drupal as well. So again, if you'd like to know more about that, please let us know, and we can put in the link for that. Anything else that you want to tell us, please again finish typing and popping in, or if you want to ask actually any questions left, if feel free to pop your camera on and ask the question, or on chat. Go on, Will.
Hi, man. Just a really quick one and a standard one for these sort of engagements. Those slides were great. They were gone through really quickly, which was useful for the call. But the slides post lightning talks, I don't think are part of that Google Doc. So it's just wondering if some of that is going to be available attached to the end of that docs. So.
Yeah, we'll do that. Definitely share it, our slides, and then also share this recording with everyone, if either yourself or like people from your council couldn't make it today. So we'll do all of those things. So yeah, we're happy to kind of do that. Any other questions? Before everyone drops off, we just want to take a quick photo, you know, the typical things, so that we can put it on LinkedIn, Twitter, whichever channel you fancy. So can I ask as many people as possible, and only if you're comfortable, please turn on your camera. Give people a couple of seconds to kind of like do that. The more the merrier, please. And is it Charlotte? Are you going to take the screenshot for us?
Yes, I'm just setting it up now. It's so nice to see everyone's faces.
Right, so hands in the air, jazz hands, everyone, or whatever kind of you want to do. Got it, Charlotte?
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you again for joining us. I'm really glad to hear that a lot of you have enjoyed the session, especially hearing from other councils. Like genuinely exciting round of projects, and like I said, we'll figure out ways to like share with everyone is doing, both in like Twitter and Slack, and we always let people know of show and tells that's going on for other projects. So just tag us, and we'll happy to kind of like retweet, or either on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and Kieran will get the LinkedIn side sorted ASAP. Thank you very much. So hopefully that was helpful for everyone, and you get a ton of time back in your diary. So go outside. This is what I would say. Lovely to see you all, and the next steps is that your collaboration manager will be in touch, and looking forward to seeing how all of the projects progress. Thank you everyone, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good day.
Cheers.
Great, that's everyone. Awesome.
That went really well.
Yeah, it's a lovely session. I'm glad to see everyone loved it. So
yeah, I think we should do maybe an event like every 4 to 6 weeks or something, get everyone together. They seem to really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think maybe not that often, because people are just so busy, and I don't think any point doing it before Christmas. So something in the new year, perhaps, because a lot of the projects technically won't kick off until after Christmas. So yeah, I think we'll just pick a suitable time.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me know.
See you on the other side.
Okay.
Bye.